in terms of like proportion and stuff, but it's not the actual true size, because the true size of the same tower is going to be like hundreds of meters, right? You're not going to get a paper long enough to draw. It's going to take like hours. So you just draw a smaller version, but it's exactly each piece, each section is related to each other section in the same tower, and it looks exactly like the real same tower, except everything's just been shrunk. So that's a scale drawing. You can either shrink something, or if you have something that's really small, enlarge it. So it goes both ways. Scale drawings can be some things that are, bigger than the actual object or smaller than the actual object. Yeah, something along those lines. So I'll show you exactly what I mean by that. So here they have an example of a grasshopper. So scale 1 to 1. What does that mean? 1 to 1. Sorry, what do I mean by 1 to 1? I mean this right here. 1 and then the 2 dots. That's a colon and 1. The way to read it is 1 to 1 or whatever the first number is, and then that colon is the word 2. So in this case, when you have 3:1, it's pronounced as 3 to 1. So that's the scale is 3 to 1. What does that mean? So let's start with 1 to 1. When you have a 1 to 1 drawing, that means it's the full scale, or it's the true size, the exactly life size of this grasshopper. So a grasshopper would exactly be that size, height, length, whatever. And that's a 1 to 1 drawing. When you have a drawing that's half the size, it would be a 1 to 2 scale. 1 to 2. So that's like half the size. And then if you have a double size, the drawing would be 2 to 1 scale. So depending on where the number is, if it's in the before the colon or after the colon, is an indicator whether the drawing is bigger than the real life, or that the drawing is smaller than the actual real life version. And remember, 1 to 1 is just the regular real life version. So these are called magnification drawings, where the drawing is larger than the object, and it's written in the form n:1. What does that mean? N just represents the number, the size of the magnification. So if I have something that, let's say, is 2 to 1, that means it's 2 times larger than the actual real life thing. The picture is 2 times larger. That's the magnification drawing. A reduction drawing is where the drawing is smaller than the object, and it's written in the form 1:n. And n represents the size of the reduction, or the number by which you must divide all measurements. For example, if the scale of a drawing is stated as 1 to 4, this means that every dimension of the drawing is a quarter size or 1/4 the size of the real life object. So let's say we have an example of a bedroom that is 600 centimeters by 400 centimeters. And let's say there's a bed that's 200 by 200 against the middle shorter wall. That's fine. Draw a scale diagram using a scale of 1 to 40. What does that mean? 1 to 40 means that are we multiplying or dividing? It's in the form 1:n. The diagram will be smaller than the real life object, therefore all measurements must be divided by 40. So if the number is after the colon, we're dividing. So here, the regular bedroom is 600 by 600, let's say length, 400, width. You can divide by 40, because that's what we wanted, the scale of 1 to 40. And we have 15 centimeters. So when we're actually going to draw this bedroom, from this point to this point, we're going to measure 15 centimeters. And then from this point to this point, we're going to measure 10 centimeters. And the bed was 200 by 200. And we know that since it's the same drawing, we're going to divide it by 40 as well. 200 divided by 40 is 5. That means the bed is going to be from here to here, it's going to be 5 centimeters. From here to here, it's going to be 5 centimeters. So you have to use a ruler. When it comes to scale diagrams, you have to use a grid or a ruler, some kind of measurement. Otherwise, it's wrong. So scale diagrams are very, very like what's the word I'm looking for? Like detail oriented. You need to be very specific. You can't have like mistakes. Like when I was drawing earlier these diagrams, and I was kind of like making it a little bit here and there. You can't do that with scale diagrams. They got to be exact. So be careful with that. So let's go back to my thing here. So here we have scale drawings. And here's an example of a scale drawing. And they said we have a room that's here. And we want to do 1 to 2. I think that's what they want. So what does 1 to 2 mean? Let's find out. Oh no. Okay. Oh, that's huge. That's fine. So let's start. So what's happening here? These are measurements. If you're not sure, this what do you call this symbol here? Apostrophe? I don't know. I don't know how to spell it even. Yeah, a punctuation mark, apostrophe. Yeah, okay, I got it. Okay, so this punctuation mark apostrophe, this is like the little single one. It's like quotation marks, with the 2, except it's 1. So when you have 1, that's indicates feet. So this is where we are talking about these American measurements, inches and feet and stuff. So it's just a number. Don't be scared of it. So what they're measuring is this from here to here is 3 feet. The window is 4 feet. Then there's space, so it's 2 feet wall. Then another 4 feet window. Then another 3 feet like wall. Then we have 11 feet from here to here. We don't know the distance from here to here, but we can figure that out using math. From here to here is 3 feet. That's a door. The whole thing from here to here is 22 feet. That's a big wall. Then we have 3 feet here. Then we have a nice big giant 12 feet window. And we have 3 feet here. Now, how do we figure out this invisible, this part here? Well, if you did grade 10 math, which everyone should have, it's very simple. We can add these numbers here, and that's going to be 3 plus 4, which is 7, plus 2, which is 9, plus 4, which is 13, and 13 plus 13 is 16. We have 16 from here to here. We have 22 from here to here. So the difference, meaning subtraction, 22 minus 16, sorry, is 6. That means this has to be 6 feet. So there, that's how you figure that out. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah. So now we have all the measurements. We are going to draw, and the scale is 1 unit, colon, 2 feet. So 1 unit means 1 unit on this grid here is equal to 2 feet. Now, are we going to multiply or divide? If you remember correctly, if the number is on after the colon, we're going to divide. So we're going to divide all of these numbers by 2. So 3 divided by 2 is, sorry, we don't have to do, sorry, we just have to do each section. So from here to here. So 16 divided by 2 is what? 8. So our top section here should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 across. Try to use a ruler. It's hard with the mouse. It's hard to draw straight lines. And I could just do this. Boom. There. But I like drawing. Okay. So this side from here to here.